Okay, it's time to talk about what we've been playing, and I've been playing Friday the 13th. Yeah, so game's out Friday. They gave us access a few days early, and I need to wait to see what the servers are like once the game is released, because I have a bunch of server problems joining matches, long waits for matches, being dropped from matches. But here's the gist. The first thing you notice when you play Friday the 13th is this game is janky as hell.
Not unlike the Friday the 13th movies.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's like...
That's a good point.
Yeah. Facial animations are either terrible or non-existent, and you're clipping through walls, and after Jason kills you, after the death animation is over, you bounce up into the air and behind a rock. One time my head got cut off and it just rolled over the horizon, hundreds and hundreds of feet.
Do you have that kill cam?
But isn't that kind of great?
I mean, so that's what I was going to say. This is a multiplayer game that you're supposed to play with your friends, and stuff like that is much more forgivable in this case. As long as the experience is fun and everybody's having a good time. And the experience is fun when you're playing as Jason.
Yeah, that looks really cool. He can warp around and stuff.
Yeah, he has some supernatural abilities. More are unlocked as time goes on in the match, so you become more powerful as time goes on.
That's really cool.
Scary, yeah. And that's totally fun, but you can't choose to play as Jason.
It just happens.
So it's like...
So how does it happen?
It's random. And you can play with up to 7 teenagers, so with 8 people, you just have an 1/8 of a chance of becoming Jason.
Okay. In the match, the people don't switch roles, right?
During the match? Yeah. No. The game is over when all the teens are either dead or have escaped.
You could potentially never be Jason.
Potentially, but I think, odds are you're going to be Jason sometime.
1 in 8's not bad. Yeah.
But yesterday I played all day long. I was only Jason once. After 10 to 12 matches.
That might be. Seriously, the odds, are the odds though. Like every time it's 1 in 8. So every time you might not be Jason. So that might be the only time you'll ever play Jason.
I know, it's sad.
For the rest of your life.
It's like, it is really fun. But then, so it's not nearly as fun being the teenagers, because your options are to either escape via car or boat, or to call the cops to come and rescue you. But for the car or boat, you have to find the gas, you have to find the battery, and you have to find the keys.
Okay.
And it's totally randomized. It's not based on any sort of logic. So playing as a teenager means going to every cabin, looking in every room, opening every drawer. And that's it. You're just hoping you find the stuff.
To call the cops, isn't that just one action?
You have to set up the radio tower, and then find the radio.
Okay.
So I was watching Mark play, another gameplay editor here, and he died and then came back as the sheriff.
It's not the sheriff. It's Tommy Jarvis.
Okay.
A character from the movies who was originally played by
Sheriff Tommy.
Corey Feldman. He's sort of one of the guys who's only ever killed Jason. So he's like the hero character. And that's another thing you can do if you find a shortwave radio. You can call in Tommy Jarvis, and then one of the players who has died will be selected at random to come back as Tommy, and he's more powerful and has a shotgun.
Well, he has one shot, and we thought it would be a kill on Jason. We thought it was this cool twist on it. So Mark goes up, he sneaks up behind him. Jason doesn't even turn around, he doesn't even know. He just shotguns him in the back, and everybody cheers. We're like, "Yeah, you got Jason!" Jason just gets up and stabs him. It gives you a 3-second.
Yeah, it stuns Jason. Not even that'll kill Jason.
It's really fun.
Oh my god.
He's just like a support unit for the other players to help them escape and get Jason off their back, basically.
How long were matches lasting for you about, obviously?
15, 20, 30 minutes at the longest, I think.
There's no time limit.
I think there is a time limit. I just don't know exactly what it is. It's 30 minutes if you just survive until morning or whatever.
There's some funny death sequences and stuff like that.
Oh, the death sequences are cool. And actually, there's a lot of Friday the 13th love put into the game. There's 6 different Jasons that are iconic from the movies.
I didn't realize that.
Oh, really?
Because he didn't get his hockey mask till part 3. So they have the Jason from part 2 when he's just wearing a bag over his head.
Oh, cool.
And you unlock cooler and cooler kills as you play through the game and earn experience points and unlock new kills and Jasons. And so that stuff is all really cool. And then there's 10 teenagers, although you only have 3 or 4 unlocked at the beginning. So when you first start playing, everyone is the same teenagers. There's just twins running around. But you earn experience points every match you play, and you're unlocking stuff fairly frequently, and you can roll new perks for your teenagers. So I actually like the unlock progression system. It's just not nearly as fun being a teenager as it is being Jason. So
ain't that the truth?
It's like hunting people down and brutally murdering them. Yeah, that's actually really fun to do in a game. Rummaging through drawers, less fun.
Yeah. Are there any indications when Jason's getting closer to you? Do you know,
the music.
Or is he just there? Okay.
They actually nail the music from the movies. So it's really cool. So
there's a radar.
Oh, really? Yeah, I haven't seen this game
radar.
hardly
Is
at
there
all.
a nearby?
We have a mini map, and sometimes Jason will show up on your mini map, but he can also, one of his abilities is to mask that and to go stealth.
Gotcha.
Also, so if you're in silence, you're good. Jason's like not near you, but yeah, you'll start to hear that and then the music will swell, and then it starts getting chun 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 chun, and you're like, I know he's right here. Oh, I'm dead.
And then suddenly you can't run anymore. I noticed. Either.
Yeah, you run out of stamina. But you know, like the more you play,
Because of the music?
Or just because you're running for
no, just like so your fear is always building, and that's handicaps you the more you play.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And then you can also run out of stamina, so you can't run anymore. You're out of breath. So all these things.
Facial expressions don't look great when that happens. It just looks like a normal person, but they're moving slow.
Each teenager also has several lines of dialogue, but their lips never move when they deliver it. So it's like, but as their fear increases, they start to become more terrified on their face. So
Is it fun? Do you like it?
fun as Jason.
Yeah.
I don't
Less so as
less
anyone
so
else.
as teenager. I'm gonna keep playing it. You know, we won't have like I said, it's out on the Friday. We won't have a review that day. Probably take the weekend and early next week we'll try to get that review up. That is just a small taste of the full discussion on this week's Game Scoop. For the full episode, go over to youtube.com/GameScoop and make sure to subscribe.